Hi, and welcome to How to Monitor Progress on IEP Goals. I'm Judy Ruffalo, and I'm a special education advocate. I've been doing advocacy for more than 20 years now. I'm also a certified mediator trained at Center for Conflict Resolution in Chicago, and I'm a private contractor for the Illinois State Board of Education for the past several years in a lot of different capacities, including things like parent training, district monitoring, and IEP facilitation. I'm here today with attorney Sabrina Schaefer.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sabrina Schaefer. Thank you, Judy. And today, as Judy mentioned, we're going to talk about how do you monitor progress on your child's IEP goals. Along with us, as part of the Breaking Autism team, we have Mr. Phil Milk. He is not with us today, but he will be with us in spirit. So let's get started. Fundamentals of tracking IEP goals. So let's go into the fundamentals. Let's just do some quick hits, and then we'll go through an example. Judy will walk us through exactly how you do that kind of monitoring. So first and foremost, understand your children's goals. We see this a lot, where parents are given goals and they agree to them, but then we come back and go, okay, how did it go? And I have no idea what that means. I have no idea what the goal is or why we're working on this skill. So first and foremost, to all things IEP, understand your child's goals. And second, ask for your child's data. You have a right to be a meaningful participant on your child's IEP team. And part of that includes developing the IEP and appropriate evaluation. So you want to make sure that you have the data. And a lot of times it won't just be given to you, so you'll have to ask for it. If you're not sure how to ask for it, there is a sample letter on our website, breakingautism.com, or you can send an email and just ask the data in preparation for the IEP. And last but not least, if you don't understand something, ask. I think you'll notice a trend. That's something Judy and I tend to say a lot. Frankly, because we find that parents, or for whatever reason, shy about asking questions. And as I mentioned, you have every right to be an informed member of the team. So it's important that if you don't understand something, ask. So with that, let's dive in with our example.
Okay, so we're going to use a very common reading goal to work on today to learn how to do this. So starting with what Sabrina said about you needing to understand your child's goals before you can begin to monitor your progress. So understanding the goals starts with understanding the present levels. So we're talking about Alex here, and Alex has a difficulty with reading. The team's written a reading fluency goal for him. So the first part of the goal is stating that Alex currently is reading 60 words per minute with anywhere from 8 to 10 errors during that minute. And that would be his reading fluency, which is the same thing as reading speed. Reading speed correlates directly to reading comprehension, so that's why it's commonly monitored in IEP goals, because the more quickly Alex is able to learn how to read, the more likely he is to comprehend and retain the information. So what the team's decided here is that in 1 year time, Alex is going to increase his speed to 120 words per minute, but also reduce his error level down to 3. Because again, less errors reading equates to better comprehension. So we take an annual goal and we break it down into what's called benchmarks. Now, benchmarks kind of look like separate goals, but what they really are generally time-constrained steps in order to meet the overall goal. So in this particular goal, we've broken it down into 4 benchmarks that would equate generally to quarters, that go along with report card time, so that the parents would receive the updates at the same time as the report cards. So the annual goal is the overall goal, but the first benchmark is that after 9 weeks, we want Alex to go from 60 to 70 words per minute, and we want to see him reduce those errors, you know, down to 6 to 8, and then just marching right through to the end. So at 18 weeks, 85 words per minute. At 27 weeks, 100 words per minute, and now we're down to less than 3 errors. And the last benchmark is the same as the annual goal, which is that 120 word per minute goal with less than 3 errors. So on the chart, we're going to be charting two things. We're looking at the actual words per minute that Alex is reading, and we're also looking at his number of hours. And those are those bright red lines, okay? So if we're just looking at his reading speed, we can see that he's increased nicely, but now we're showing you these blue dotted lines, which are the actual goal lines, okay? So like I said, Alex's speed has gone up, and he's up to 92 words per minute in 1 year's time. But what we can see, though, is that where we really wanted him was to be at 120 words per minute, and that results in that performance gap that we've outlined there, which is you know, really indicative of the fact that Alex didn't make the progress that was expected in 1 year's time in his reading. Now, the error line is even a little bit more interesting, because what we've got is we can see that as Alex's reading speed increased, so did his errors. So this is something we sometimes see with kids. You know, they know that, you know, the goal is for them to read faster, and so, you know, they keep trying to go faster, and the more they do, sometimes the more errors they start making, which is not obviously the direction that we want it to go at all. So I hope that seeing that visually, you can actually see that, you know, Alex has some problems, and what could be glossed over as that he actually made some nice progress. He went from 60 all the way up to 92 words per minute, and that is true, but that's really not the goal that we were going for. And if you look again at the difference in the distance between the red line and the blue line on top, you'll see that gap between the two, and that gap is actually growing as time goes by.
So Judy, you bring up such an important point. You know, prior to being a special education advocate and attorney, I worked with families and helping build out IEP goals and things like that as a consultant. And I see this a lot where, you know, first of all, you're given a chart and you don't see the performance gap, so they don't show you, you know, what the goal was. Maybe you'll have some of this information, but it'll look like this, for instance. And the parents will go, oh, good, you know, Alex made progress. And Alex did make progress, but we're really looking for adequate progress. And it's misleading to say, you know, oh, look, Alex made progress only looking at these two sort of actual lines. When you really start to look at the goal and understand where that performance gap is by charting this out, you can really start to see the whole picture and understand if your child's making progress. And I say that because I think this is very intimidating for parents to think that they're going to be charting their child's progress. It sounds very sophisticated, and frankly it is. I think one of the really amazing things that you do is things like this, right? Really looking at data and understanding it. And that's very powerful as an advocate for you to do. But I think for a parent level coming in, if you go back to those fundamentals, you know, understand your goals, ask for the data, and if you don't understand, ask. When you get the data, you could easily make this chart, right? You can see that, okay, quarter one, Alex was at 62, but the benchmark said this. So again, you know, looking at this, and if you take the fundamentals of really monitoring progress and what you've done here, you can see it's very doable and incredibly powerful. So with that, thank you so much for your time. Just like we mentioned in our fundamentals, if you don't understand something, ask. We encourage you to ask questions in the comments below or reach out to us. And ultimately, remember, take a deep breath, come prepared. That's important, but you've got this. If you need any more information about us or what Breaking Autism does, you're welcome to come to our website, own your seat at the table, and reach out to us if you have any questions. Thank you so much.